At first glance, the Girl Truck Routine channel looks like it breaks every rule in the YouTube playbook. You've got a lone female truck driver, zero talking, no face reveals, and absolutely none of that loud, high-energy influencer persona we're all so used to seeing. Instead, what you get is pure, unfiltered atmosphere. Imagine the steady, rhythmic hum of a massive diesel engine, the soft blue glow of dashboard dials cutting through the pre-dawn darkness, and the quiet, almost ASMR-like ritual of brewing a cup of coffee on a tiny stove inside a cramped sleeper cab. It's the mesmerizing, hypnotic sight of thousands of miles of European highway disappearing beneath 18 wheels, with only the hiss of air brakes and passing headlights for company. This channel didn't blow up because the creator manufactured drama or desperately chased the latest algorithm trends. It skyrocketed because she did the exact opposite. By choosing absolute silence over constant chatter and raw, unscripted work over a polished performance, she tapped into a massive, unmet craving for digital calm. Behind those slow, cinematic frames of a rig hauling freight through the night lies a perfect storm. It's a brilliant mix of impeccable timing, the collective burnout of modern life, and a radical shift in what global audiences are actually looking for. Making its quiet debut in early 2025, the channel established a visual language that is purely observational. These are day-in-the-life videos stripped completely of the usual clichés. You won't find any flashy jump cuts designed to hack your dopamine, and there's no voiceover explaining what you're looking at. It's just the road, the rig, and the quiet solitude of the drive. It turns out, offering viewers a peaceful escape from the noise was the ultimate growth strategy. True to its name, the channel delivered exactly what it promised, the routine. At first, the subscriber count ticked up pretty slowly. But if you think about it, in an online world absolutely saturated with screaming neon thumbnails and desperate clickbait, this felt like a quiet rebellion. While everyone else was aggressively trying to sell their quirky personalities, this driver was just inviting us into her daily rhythm. She wasn't begging anyone to smash that subscribe button. Instead, she was offering the ultimate virtual passenger seat to a gritty, solitary life most of us will never get to experience in the real world. For those first few months, the channel enjoyed a steady, almost underground, slow burn. A couple 100,000 views on a video, a tight-knit little community forming in the comments. It was a cozy, well-kept secret. It acted as a comfortable, quiet corner of the internet reserved mostly for logistics nerds, travel junkies, and insomniacs just looking for a way to unwind. Then, the brutal winter of 2025 rolled in, and the whole game changed overnight. The match that lit the powder keg was a single upload, my first winter trucking nightmare. It caught the YouTube algorithm at the absolute perfect second, right as the entire Northern Hemisphere was shivering its way into the dark, freezing reality of December. The footage was intense. We're talking completely snow-choked mountain passes, terrifyingly slick sheets of black ice, and the sheer, high-stakes reality of trying to wrestle 40 tons of sliding steel through white-out blizzard conditions. If any other vlogger had posted this, the audio would have been packed with frantic, high-pitched screaming and endless dramatic commentary. But her? Absolute silence. The tension didn't come from her telling you how scary it was. It radiated from the heavy, suffocating quiet of the cab. You could practically feel her white-knuckled grip on the steering wheel and the intense, visible concentration it took just to keep the massive rig out of a ditch. That video didn't just go viral. It became an absolute cultural phenomenon, rocketing past 1 million views in a matter of days and never looking back. The YouTube algorithm, picking up on those incredibly high viewer retention rates, did what it does best. It started serving her videos to millions of people who had never once typed trucking into a search bar. Then came the absolute tipping point. On Christmas Day, she dropped a video titled Female Truck Driver's First Ferry Crossing. Within weeks, that single upload shattered the 3 million view mark. Subscribers didn't just trickle in, they flooded the channel by the tens of thousands. By early 2026, Girl Truck Routine had completely shed its niche hobby status. It had morphed into a global comfort watch, a massive digital escape hatch for a chronically exhausted world. To really get why this specific channel exploded, you have to look at the massive cultural burnout happening across the internet right now. Audiences are just profoundly exhausted. People are tired of being constantly talked at, shouted over and sold to. We are sick of performative authenticity and the relentless draining noise of the modern attention economy. Sure, silent, aesthetic, day-in-the-life vlogs had been creeping up in popularity for a few years. But long-haul trucking added a serious layer of gravity and consequence that your standard domestic vlog completely lacks. This wasn't some artificial, perfectly curated calm staged in a sunny, minimalist kitchen with a matcha latte. This was earned calm. It was a hard-won peace found in the middle of a gritty, demanding, and high-stakes profession. Let's be honest, long-haul trucking is an inherently grueling, deeply isolating profession. It's a lifestyle governed by incredibly strict European regulations and demands serious physical stamina. You can practically feel that heavy, exhausting reality radiating from her footage. You're right there with her for those brutal 4 a.m. starts, the heavy physical labor of ratcheting down cargo in the freezing cold, and the quiet, solitary ritual of pulling the cab curtains shut at a desolate truck stop after a punishing 15-hour day. Then there's the unspoken elephant in the room, her environment. She is a woman operating in one of the most heavily male-dominated industries on the planet. To put it in perspective, only about 4% of truck drivers in Europe are women, and in the UK, that number hovers at a staggering 1%. Almost any other creator would have seized those statistics, pivoting their entire channel to focus on social commentary, breaking glass ceilings, or proving a point. But her? She never says a single word about it. There are no lectures, no heavy-handed reminders of how tough her position is, and no grandstanding. She simply shows up, fires up the diesel, and does the job with an incredibly high level of professional competence. Ironically, that absolute quiet competence became her loudest and most powerful message. It fostered a level of raw, authentic trust that is almost non-existent on social media today. Viewers instantly recognized that what they were watching wasn't staged for the camera or aggressively filtered through the toxic, hyper-productive lens of hustle culture. She showed the bone-deep exhaustion of the job without ever feeling the need to complain about it. She captured the inherent, echoing loneliness of the open road without ever trauma-dumping or oversharing her personal life. Most importantly, she showed the beauty and rhythm of a rigid routine without ever making it look like a miserable chore. The public's response was something nobody really saw coming. Viewers didn't just passively consume the content. They developed a fiercely protective sense of stewardship over the channel. Hundreds of fans started dropping tips into her Buy Me a Coffee account. Not because she hit them with a loud, aggressive call to action at the end of every video, but because watching her content literally felt like a public service. The comment sections completely transformed from standard internet chatter into a digital sanctuary of gratitude. People started pouring their hearts out, writing about how the slow, methodical videos helped them manage severe anxiety, how the low rumble of the diesel engine became the only way they could fall asleep, or how watching her simply made their own chaotic, overwhelming days feel just a little bit quieter. By the time early 2026 rolled around, the numbers were absolutely undeniable. Girl Truck Routine blew past 140,000 subscribers and racked up over 15 million total views. More than 700 individual supporters had chipped in financially to keep the wheels turning. And she achieved all of this without ever having to push cheap merchandise, sign a predatory sponsorship deal for a product she didn't use, or raise her voice even a single decibel to get noticed. However, there is a massive, invisible struggle behind those impressive numbers that rarely gets talked about. This creator is effectively working two of the most demanding jobs on the planet, simultaneously. By day, she is a highly skilled professional driver, navigating complex international borders, brutal traffic, and incredibly strict European tachograph laws that legally monitor and regulate every single minute she spends behind the wheel. Then, by night, she completely shifts gears to become a solo filmmaker and editor. She's meticulously cutting footage and color grading on a glowing laptop screen, all while cramped in the tiny, claustrophobic quarters of a sleeper cab. Just figuring out how to mount cameras and film safely, while operating a 40-ton commercial vehicle, requires an immense amount of discipline, let alone finding the creative energy to edit a cinematic vlog after a 15-hour shift. Just the sheer logistics of editing and uploading consistent, high-quality cinematic content while constantly crossing international borders with wildly unpredictable internet speeds is a massive feat all on its own. But with that skyrocketing success comes an intense new level of scrutiny. In the highly regulated world of commercial trucking, every single frame of footage you post is a potential liability. Savvy viewers have already pointed out that her videos could theoretically be dissected by transportation authorities, meaning even the most minor, accidental infraction caught on film could threaten her livelihood. That kind of massive visibility brings a crushing burden of responsibility. Yet, despite all of that pressure, she hasn't changed her approach one bit. There are no manufactured drama arcs to desperately boost engagement, no sudden pivots into oversharing just to satisfy curious commenters, and no frantic attempts to chase the latest fleeting algorithmic trends. She has remained fiercely disciplined, laser-focused, and most importantly, quiet. The road just keeps going and she simply continues to film it. Ultimately, the untold story of Girl Truck Routine isn't really about the complex mechanics of long-haul logistics, nor is it strictly about the trendy aesthetics of a silent vlog. It is a masterclass in the sheer power of restraint. It's about deeply understanding a fundamental truth that so many modern creators completely miss. Audiences don't always want more content. Sometimes they just desperately want less noise. In a hyper-connected internet culture that feels like it's constantly screaming for our fractured attention, she actively chose to slow down. She invited the world to lean in and listen to the hypnotic hum of the highway instead of the sound of her own voice. And as millions of exhausted people continue to tune in week after week, it's becoming crystal clear that this quiet, rebellious choice might have a much more profound, lasting impact on the future of digital storytelling than anyone could have ever predicted. She proved once and for all that you absolutely do not need to be loud to be heard. It turns out you just need to be relentlessly real. You need to be consistent. And maybe most importantly, you need to have the sheer courage to step back and let the silence speak for itself. In the end, the meteoric rise of this channel is a beautiful testament to a simple fact. Even in a world obsessed with constant, frantic motion, there is still a deep, universal human craving for the steady, comforting rhythm of a routine well kept. The journey of Girl Truck Routine serves as a powerful reminder that the most compelling narratives aren't always the ones told with a script. Sometimes, the best stories are found in the soft glow of a dashboard at midnight, the rising steam of a morning coffee brewed on a tiny portable stove, and the endless, mesmerizing horizon of an open European highway. As she continues to trace her routes across the map, she isn't just delivering heavy commercial cargo. She is actively delivering a profound sense of peace to a global audience that desperately needs it. The massive impact of this channel actually marks a fascinating shift in the creator economy. Think about it. While traditional influencers rely entirely on their loud voices and manufactured personalities to build an audience, she relies purely on atmosphere. Where others rely on fast-paced, dopamine-hacking jump cuts to retain attention, she leans into a slow, cinematic rhythm. And where most creators fund their channels through aggressive, in-your-face sponsorships, her revenue flows directly from overwhelming, organic fan gratitude. The takeaways here for anyone paying attention are crystal clear. Simply doing a difficult, demanding job exceptionally well is often infinitely more interesting than just talking to a camera about it. By maintaining a strict level of mystery, never revealing her name, her face, or her backstory, she essentially creates a blank canvas, allowing every single viewer to project themselves into that driver's seat. In a burned-out, exhausted corner of the internet, she didn't shout to be heard. She slowed down, embraced the quiet, and let the entire world lean in. And judging by the millions of people still tuning in every single week, that quiet, rebellious choice might have just changed the landscape of YouTube a lot more than anyone ever expected.